Welcome to Honest Money, your best guide to financial freedom. I'm Warren Ingram, the author of a few best-selling books, and I'm also an award-winning financial planner, and I've helped thousands of people on their journey to financial freedom. I'm not here to tell you what to do, but I am here to share my experience and the best ideas that I've learned, and I hope these ideas help you on your journey to financial freedom. Welcome to another really interesting episode of Honest Money. We've got a guest today. Her name is Rochelle, and I'm going to let her introduce herself shortly. But she reached out after one of our previous episodes where we talked about financial planning and the certified financial planner designation. And so, Rochelle, you're in the world of money already, and you reached out to say, "Hang on, I'm interested in this conversation, but I need to know more. I've got my situation, and I need some help." So I thought perhaps you could give us some background.
Yeah, thanks, Warren. So I did reach out to you after that very interesting podcast. I am a chartered accountant. So I've post articles probably about 15, 16 years now. And I've been thinking about changing the letters behind my name from CASA to CFP. I am passionate about helping people, and I've been specializing in financial reporting, so can read a set of financials or prepare a set of financials very well. But I'm not sure, Warren, what I need to do to become a CFP. I've started doing a bit of research, but I'm stuck. So yeah, that's a bit about me. I'm a mom to a 13-year-old, a very, very witty 13-year-old. And she says I spend too much time on Twitter, but it's where I get to help people the most.
That's the irony when the teenager is telling the parent that the parent's spending too much time on social media.
Yes, it's the other way around. Yeah.
So, okay, great. Thanks, Rochelle. I think it's a really interesting journey that you are on already. And so maybe just a couple of thoughts. One, for people that aren't familiar, CFP stands for Certified Financial Planner. In South Africa, there are over 4,000 of us. I am one of them. And we all subscribe to the idea that you need to have an academic standard in terms of becoming a financial planner. So you need to have studied a certain amount of financial planning. And we'll get into that now, Rochelle, in terms of what that means. And then you have to have a certain amount of experience. And then on an annual basis, you have to keep yourself educated. So you have to do continuous education. And also meet a set of ethical standards. So the body that regulates certified financial planners in South Africa is called the Financial Planning Institute, and it's one of the global bodies. So there are certified financial planners pretty much across the world. And I think South Africa is in the top 10 countries worldwide in terms of number of CFPs. I think countries like the US and the UK and Australia are a little bit ahead of us, but and I think we're on par with Hong Kong for interest's sake. But certainly the reason why it's an attractive qualification in South Africa is that if someone meets a certified financial planner and they're a client, what they already know is that person studied enough to be able to give proper advice. It's not like they were selling Tupperware last week and they did a quick FinTwitter course and are now financial experts. These are people that have actually studied at a fairly high level. In truth, you write 2 exams. So you do a postgraduate diploma in financial planning, and that comes from a university. And there are a couple of universities in South Africa already that offer that postgraduate diploma. So it doesn't mean, for example, that you need to go your route, Rochelle, in terms of having to become a chartered accountant first, or even done a very high level financial degree. You do need to have done a degree, because it's you can't do a postgraduate degree in financial planning without having got an undergraduate degree already. So for you, that's not going to be an issue. I mean, clearly you've got the academic qualifications already to go straight into the postgraduate diploma. It will just be then the case of choosing the university, and that's an important thing to think about, because so for example, the kind of grandfathers like me, we pretty much all did it through the only university that was around in those days that offered this, which was the University of the Free State. And so now we're going way back to the late 90s and the early 2000s. And what happened there was you didn't have to go to campus at the University of the Free State. You could study it basically not really online. In those days, we would couriered us a bunch of books and we studied the books and then wrote the exams in big halls. But there are now universities that are offering the course to people while they're working. So it means that you can pretty much do this while you're still doing a job full time, if that's what you want to do. You don't actually physically have to go and attend university. So the choice will be, the choice of university will be determined by how you want to do the course. So if you said, I actually want to go and full time go and get this thing done as fast as possible, and have the lectures, etc., then there are some places that will do lectures in the evenings so that you can work as well. So for example, for me, I was working full time and doing my CFP through the University of the Free State, on weekends and in the evenings. And so I don't think that's an impossibility. I think most of us have probably ended up that route, unless we kind of have the ability, and I don't want to say the luxury, but I guess the gift of being able to study full time. For some people, they do actually a specialist BCom where you can do a BCom in financial planning. So you can actually do your BCom honors, and that counts as a postgrad. It's the equivalent of the postgraduate diploma. And so I think there, I would encourage you to just kind of check the options and then choose the one that suits your lifestyle and your choices about how you want to do it, how slowly. I think, some people would want to do it over 2 years if they're working, then they might not be able to commit the time. So that's your first thing to decide. Once you've done the postgraduate diploma, you still have to write a board exam. Now chartered accountants are familiar with board exams, but for everyone else, that exam is actually created by the Financial Planning Institute. So they certainly rely on the universities to provide the academic background, but still the Financial Planning Institute sets that exam, and they are responsible for making sure that if you've got CFP behind your name, you change your letters from CA to CFP, that you meet the right academic standards. And it is a good, tough, kind of qualification to get. And I think that's important. If you're going to give people advice on their financial futures that might impact them for 30 to 50 years, you want to know that the person studied it properly and has a good understanding of the qualifications. So the two things, Rochelle, is one you're going to have to get the academic qualification, and then you do the board exam. And my suggestion to people is do the two in the same time. So don't delay doing the board exam for a year or two after you've done the postgrad or the honors, because the material is pretty much the same, and you don't want the laws to change on you while you're going all the tax laws.
Thanks for that. That I have made a lot of notes, Warren. I just want to ask something. So when you become a chartered accountant, you write the first board exam immediately after you've passed your honors, or CTA, that as they call it. And then the second exam, you can only write it after you have had 18 months of experience. So you can't write the first one and then immediately write the second one. Is it the same year? Because you're saying I must do it as quickly as possible after writing, after doing the postgrad. So I'm assuming the postgrad is 1 year. Can I then immediately write the exam without having any experience?
You can, but it's actually a great question. So and this is where we're getting to my lack of knowledge, just because I wrote this such a long time ago. You also need a certain amount of experience before you can actually call yourself a certified financial planner. So for some people with no financial experience whatsoever, that might mean that they need 3 years under the belt. So they might already have all the academic qualifications, but if they came straight out of varsity with no experience at all, then they might need to do the 3 years. There will be other people, and you might fit into that category. And I would suggest and suggest to you, and also to people who are listening, reach out to the Financial Planning Institute to ask them the questions. They're very helpful. where because of your qualifications already, you might be on a fast track where you might only need to get a year under the belt before you can call yourself a certified financial planner. So there are ways to kind of speed up that experience process, but truthfully, for most of us, I guess we want to know that when we give advice, we're giving the right advice. So getting some experience under the belt alongside somebody or in a business, I think is a great idea, and for both for the potential clients that you're dealing with and for yourself, I guess, that you're giving the right advice.
Yeah, I think practice makes perfect. With anything, I don't think I would feel comfortable even if the Financial Planning Institute tells me, Rochelle, you can do this in 1 year and put CFP behind your name. I actually think the more you practice, the better. Warren, I have another question. In terms of getting the experience, so we've chatted about the varsities. I can research that. In terms of getting the experience, is this something that you would need to go and find yourself, like reach out to other financial planners and ask them if you can, to get this experience there? Is it something that the Financial Planning Institute can help you with and say, these are the people that are willing to, out of our 4,000 members, that are willing to work with you for you to get the experience?
Yeah, I think so. The short answer is that it's largely going to be in your hands to make approaches to potential employers, and I mean, there are lots of ways that you can do that. So I'll give you some ideas, but the reality is, again, if you reach out to the FPI, they might certainly say to you, these are the companies that we know are happy to take people and work with CFPs to give them the experience and give them the opportunity, and also ASISA, which is the association of kind of the big insurance companies and investment managers. They also, it's not really going to be appropriate for you, Rochelle, but they do have an ASISA Academy as well, where they'll place interns into businesses to get experience and to start their journey on qualifications. But certainly between the Financial Planning Institute and ASISA, if you reach out to them, they should certainly give you a list of potential companies to talk to and start the conversation. But in reality, the companies that kind of are great training grounds for financial planners will generally be, I guess, some of the bigger houses. So all the big banks, all the big insurance companies almost have these kind of internal academies where they're happy to take on potential financial planners and then help groom them and give them experience and give them the on-the-job training that's required. And then, there are not many very big wealth businesses in South Africa, dedicated wealth management businesses. They're a much smaller number. And so, another route would be to kind of approach an independent financial planning business or a wealth business with a view to offering your services, on the basis that they give you experience. As you know from your days as an articled clerk, that also means that you kind of start at the bottom of the salary rung, but that's the trade-off to get the on-the-job training and experience while you're helping the company at below market salary, I guess. But certainly those are the routes. I think that most people follow. The pros and cons, I think the big companies, they do spend proper time and effort and money on training. The downside is that they might also force you to be a seller of product, and that's something to be really careful of, that you don't get in to an insurance company environment where they give you good training, but also want you to go out and sell financial products to everyone out there, starting with everyone in your phone. That might be necessary, but just to be careful of that. And so I think the smaller companies, they don't necessarily have the resources to do proper, like, in-depth structured training programs, but certainly what you would get is an enormous amount of on-the-job training, almost in the deep end. And so there are always going to be trade-offs between employers.
Thank you for that, Warren. That is very interesting. It's not something that I even thought about that this is something that I could potentially do in an insurance company or in a bank. Um, I just want to ask you something, and this is more, when you become qualified, and you touched on it now with the selling of products. I'm a firm believer in selling products or anything that I believe in. When you become a CFP, I just want to know, how do you balance what you believe in and what you trust and what you know is going to work with making money?
So that's the eternal battle that all ethical financial planners will struggle with every day, and it's the toughest battle right at the start of the career. So I think the answer is that you're quite right. So I mean, if you work for a company and they say to you, "These are the products that we sell," that doesn't absolve you of the responsibility of actually understanding those products and doing your own homework into those products and putting your own professional ethical stamp of approval on them, because ultimately you are the person sitting across, I would have said the table in the old days, but now it might be across the screen from the person, and they're trusting you. Yes, you might work for a big company and there's a big brand there, but they're trusting that you're a certified financial planner, your ethics are right, and you stand behind the products that they're being recommended as much as the company that you work for. So I would say always that you put yourself first in terms of saying, I'm comfortable to endorse this. I'm comfortable that I can sell this product to my parents, assuming you like your parents, I'm comfortable to sell this to the people I love and who trust me. Then that's a good standard to set. And I think the other thing there is that being a certified financial planner, there are lots of models of earning fees. So nowadays the industry's kind of spreading out quite a bit and diversifying in terms of ways that you can earn money. So you can charge per hour now to give someone advice, where you give them the best advice you possibly can. You invoice them for the hour, they pay you for the hour, and they go and implement that advice themselves. Or you charge them for a plan, and you give them a whole plan and you implement the plan for them. But they're paying you to implement, to kind of design and implement a plan, but then they take responsibility for it. Or you charge an annual fee. And generally those fees are charged in relation to the size of money that you're looking after. So, very typically in the wealth management industry, it'll be, if you're managing 10 million Rand for someone, you'll charge them 1% a year as an advice fee. And so there are lots of different models. It doesn't just have to be commission that's built into the cost of a product. So in the old days, the only way advisors got paid was they sold their clients, let's say an RA, and the advisor got a huge upfront fee, and then the client was stuck in a product for 25 years, and it may or may not have been a good product. So the models are spread, and I guess the hourly fees resonate with clients very well because they know what they're paying, and they know that the advisor's got no ethical conundrums here. The advisor's got no link to saying, I want you to go to this company instead of that company because the one gives me a bigger cut of your money than the other. If you're charging for an hour, that's what you're getting. But the issue there is just that it's a very difficult business model to run as a financial planner, where you're only ever selling time. And so I think there are lots of companies that are experimenting and blending and trying to use online advice in combination with face-to-face, in combination with annual fees. So I'm not giving you a clear answer because the answer is there are lots of options.
Okay. Yeah, that there are lots of options. Is this something that they would cover in the postgrad?
Yeah, so I think that you'll find between the postgrad and the board exam, remuneration is a big issue, and the way the industry is paying and the future. So for interest, the Financial Planning Institute have an annual convention, and that was run in October, and there a lot of time gets spent on these kinds of topics, where a lot of the continuous education is saying global best practice looks like this. What are we doing in South Africa? Are we following this trend? And one of the things that's not unique to us, but I mean, certainly, it's something that we grapple with in South Africa is how do we spread financial advice across our whole population, not just to the 5% of people that already have wealth. What about the 95% that are building wealth? And so finding a way to do that kind of inclusion of financial advice is something that the industry is grappling with, because if a financial planner is a relatively well-qualified, experienced, and expensive resource, they can't spend their time giving away financial advice for free, even if they wanted to, because they have their own children and their own families, but they need to be fairly paid. So this is a kind of a moving target all the time in our industry.
Yeah, this is something that I'm very passionate about, is financial education. I have been grappling with it in my head. How do we reach the masses? How do we reach the masses and still make financial sense for us? So even outside being a certified financial planner, I've been thinking about how do I reach as many people as possible, and still be able to have a decent income. Warren, the last question that I have for you is, I just want to know, am I normal for wanting to do this? Do people do this late in their careers? Because I'm 42. Am I crazy for thinking about doing this?
Not at all. I mean, it actually makes me, it makes my heart happy to talk to you and hear what you want to do, because the industry, I want to say it on the other side, there are only just over 4,000 CFPs in South Africa. We need tens of thousands of ethical, educated, financially educated people with experience rolling out financial advice to millions of South Africans who desperately need it. So, when people say to me, what do you think about financial planning? I mean, my view is financial planning is the best job in the world. You get to make a massive difference to people's lives. You get to earn a decent living. If your ethics are right, you can look yourself in the mirror every morning when you wake up with pride to say, I've done something good for people, and I'm looking after my family, and I'm making a difference in the world, and I'm making a difference to people's lives. And I think it's a hugely powerful industry if you want purpose, if you want value in your life, and you want, and this is not a motivational talk, but I think the point is to get up every day and say, yes, there are, in every job, there's stuff that we don't like, but I go to bed at night and I know that if I've done my job well, I've done something today to make a difference to someone's life. And I think that kind of meaning is really powerful. So for you, are you crazy? No, I think it's crazy to stay in a job that you hate. I think it's crazy to stay in a career. I mean, I'm not saying you hate your job, but it's crazy to stay in a career that might not give you as much meaning as you can find elsewhere. And it is a lovely way to make a living. And I think you can do it, until you die, until your health fails. So I think I'd encourage you to do it. I think it's the best thing to do. The industry needs lots more people with your ethics and your background in terms of wanting to do this, where you feel strongly about financial education. So to come in like that and say, I want to make a difference to people and make this my career, I would say, kind of start, get going. We need you in the industry.
Thank you so much, Warren, because that was really what I was like. Am I crazy for thinking I can do this so late in my career and make it a success? But I am coming in to this field with this mindset that I want to help as many people as possible. I really want to make financial education available for as many people as possible, while still making a living for myself. Just quickly, I don't dislike my job. I actually love what I do. It has ran. I've reached the ceiling. I don't want to be a CFO. I always tell my CFO, I make CFOs look good. I'm in the background. So I don't want to be a CFO. I don't want to be a CFO. I make my CFO look good. So yeah, I have reached the ceiling. It's no longer where I want to be. So yeah, I appreciate your time, Warren. I really, really do. I know you are very busy. So yeah, just from my side, thank you. I have 3 pages of notes that I have made during this chat. I have a lot of research to do. I will be spamming this Financial Planning Institute's website just now, but just thank you. And thank you for everything that you do. I have gotten so much joy out of your books. I have gifted them to people that I think can really use them. The first two I've been gifting to people that is starting this journey. So thank you for everything that you do too. It really takes a village if we want to reach the masses.
Thank you so much, Rochelle. That's awesome feedback. I really appreciate it, and thanks so much for being brave enough to come on the show and to talk to us. We love it. I'm sure lots of people will have the same sets of questions that you've got and been wondering the same things. So I hope that they benefit as well, and we look forward to hearing back from you on your journey in the years ahead.
Definitely, I will keep the Honest Money podcast up to breast with what I'm busy with. Last question. Is the exam very hard?
Is the exam really hard? It's not easy. I will say that. Like everything in life, if you put in the work consistently over time, it's definitely something to pass. But the people that fail, I find, are the ones that leave it to the last second and are they don't put in the work, and they're the ones that pay the price.
Okay, that's it from me, Warren. Thank you so much. I will put in the work throughout the whole year or 2 years.
I have no doubt.
Not at the end, because I need to do this ASAP.
So from from the rest of us here at Honest Money, thanks so much, Rochelle. We really appreciate you being on the show, and we'll catch you up on the other side.
Thanks, Warren. Have a good day.
Thank you for listening to Honest Money. If you have any questions, you're welcome to reach out to me on Twitter. My handle is @WarrenIngram. Don't forget to subscribe. We're on Spotify and Apple Podcast. Chat soon.